So let me start off by saying, I don't think I've ever seen a blue dial done like this before. Most people do fume dials from light shades to darker shades. However, Oris did the opposite, and in my opinion, this is not only unique, but it's an incredibly beautiful dive watch. But guys, really quick, my name is AB, I run the Watch Collecting Tribe Productions, and in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the Oris Baikal, Lake Baikal to be specific, and I'm going to be telling you guys why it got that name, and I'm going to be telling you guys all the specifications and the full review of this watch. So guys, without further ado, let's just move on to the review. So Oris has been one of the very few brands that's been working towards the preservation and protection of Mother Nature. Unlike many brands who focus only on maximizing profits, Oris produces consistently limited edition timepieces to fund multiple charities. We saw this with the Great Barrier Reef, we saw it with the Blue Whale, and the Clean Ocean. Now we have a new release with a beautiful unique blue dial, the Lake Baikal. This new release was in collaboration with the Lake Baikal Foundation, a research foundation focused on protecting the beautiful lake that is famously known for being the world's deepest freshwater lake. Oris didn't only focus on creating a blue average dial, however, they decided to try to capture the ever-changing tones of blue similar to the changes the lake experiences throughout the year. The result? Well, we get one of the nicest blue dials in Oris's production in my honest opinion. Typical fume dials tend to go from a lighter shade to a darker shade in the middle. That creates an infinite blue hole look that looks actually amazing. That said, having the opposite gives a wonderful effect, quite relaxing to look at. It gives me a calming sensation that gives a feeling that there's light taking over darkness, if that makes any sense. It's quite remarkable to say the least. Now putting the dial aside for a few seconds, the watch is fitted with a dark blue ceramic bezel that contrasts nicely with the dial. Ceramic provides an always new look to a watch due to its scratch resistant properties. The bezel also has engraved numerals, and there's little to no play to the bezel, and the bezel feel tends to feel a little tactical. However, you don't get that satisfying bezel feel if you know what I'm talking about. Now the addition of this ceramic bezel in my opinion was a good choice. It's a little muted, it's not as shiny as you think it would be, and in my opinion that's a positive because the watch is already a really loud watch. Having a really shiny bezel wouldn't contrast too well with this dial. Now as you guys can see, the watch has an integrated bracelet, which in my opinion is kind of a negative. Having a dial like this would contrast extremely well with different watch straps. While the bracelet is solid and wears extremely comfortably on the wrist, overall I think having lugs with a 20mm strap size would have been a better option in my personal opinion. Now with that being said, if you don't mind integrated bracelets, then you're in for a treat. The piece contours nicely with polished and brushed surfaces present. The polished surfaces are subtle and mostly obvious only on the bracelet. Now having this watch on the wrist, it's definitely on the bigger side. At 43mm on paper, you might think it's a little too big. However, while 43 might feel slightly larger, the integrated lugs has a drastic curve that makes it wear wonderfully on the wrist. Paired with the 13mm thickness, the watch is just super comfortable despite its larger size. Now if you take a look under the hood, the caliber powering this watch is Oris's 733, which is just fancy for SW200 with the iconic red Oris rotor. The Solida movement beats at 4 Hz and has a power reserve of 38mm. The good thing about this movement is it's very serviceable and very reliable. You can't go wrong with any Solida movements. So this caliber does provide a date. As you guys can see, breaking up the dial at the 6 o'clock mark is a date window that in my opinion could have done without. That said, I understand many prefer having a date, so I think Oris should have matched the color of the date with a shade of blue within the dial to be a little less disruptive. Now with that being said, it is positioned well and tastefully placed. In my opinion, it could be a little disruptive, but it doesn't really distract from the dial. It could be because of the date placement or the striking dial. Nevertheless, it doesn't bother me as much as other watches with dates would, but I think it could have done without. Now finally, in typical Aquis fashion, you guys can see a lot of really cool contours, and the finishing on this watch is exceptional, which is typical of Oris Aquis's. Now the bracelet inside this watch has a mix of brushing and polishing, and I absolutely love it. It's very comfortable, and my only criticism is you're just not getting a lot of strap options, but with that being said, the bracelet is very comfortable. Now that we have all of the specifications out of the way, allow me to give you guys my personal opinions on this watch. I'm gonna start off by contradicting myself, but bear with me. I think the integrated bracelet might be a really good thing for this watch because it's simply an icon for Oris. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see this integrated bracelet style dive watch, I immediately think of Oris. I've even seen luxury brands try to do it, but when I see it, I just feel like they're copying Oris. And in a world full of dive watches, it's very hard for you to make something unique. And in my opinion, this has been an icon for Oris. It's become something that you accompany with the Aquis. And honestly, while I do prefer straps, this integrated bracelet dive watch look has become synonymous to Oris. So in my opinion, if you're looking for a unique dive watch, a beautiful dive watch that kind of supports a really good cause, then I would absolutely go with this watch. In fact, just judging by design alone, even though it is a little bit bigger, I kind of like it. It looks really good, and honestly with a dial like this, I prefer the bigger size. I know I typically prefer smaller watches, but in this case it kind of works. The ceramic bezel actually makes it look a lot smaller on the wrist, and it is very comfortable. So guys, this watch is in fact a limited edition. Now, it might be a little annoying, however, if you really think about it, for them to make such a unique dial and restrict it purely for a good cause, then I'm not totally against the limited production. But if you guys are interested in this watch, it is limited and it is really beautiful, so I would grab it when you have the chance. But guys, hopefully you enjoyed this review. Please add in the comment section below what you think about this watch. What other Oris watches do you want me to check out? I kind of want to check out more Oris watches. This is probably my second Oris on the channel, so I think I need to check out even more. And guys, let me know in the comments what you think. Also, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing and make sure you check out exquisitetimepieces.com. They're the ones who made this review possible, and they carry a lot of brands, and honestly, it's great to partner with them because that way I can be unbiased with my reviews and I get a lot of really cool watches to show to you guys. But guys, again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.